as well.
Will you be able to grow next season?
Yes, so once again, there's many people who are far worse off than I am.
Yep.
And our cherry orchards, I've only lost 2 rows right next door to here that the trees have fallen over.
Yeah.
I think I can set them up again in winter time, so I'm not going to touch them because otherwise they'll break roots and they can't drink and feed themselves. So my cherry orchards, one behind here, one there, and one further down, the nets are all broken.
Yeah.
But we've got contractors who can do that fixing for us, and the orchard trees are still okay. But I need to get my tractors in there to spray to keep the diseases out.
Is there anything that could have been done to prepare for this?
Our stop bank didn't break.
Right.
It went over the top. That's how big this was. And across in Korakupa Road, that's where it broke. If that wouldn't have happened, I don't think we would have been busy with our house. I think our house would have gone because there would have been so much water. So there was a release valve, okay? Before that broke, it was going way over top, and within 10 minutes from water running through that drive, it was knee height. We just had enough to pick our bags up, drive the cars out, and it was coming through the doors. That's how close it was. So that's how quick it came up. Imagine if it had broken, or the other side hadn't broken, this would have we wouldn't have been standing here on just dirt. Everything gone.
And apart from apples and cherries, what other crops have been affected? I saw some watermelons flying around there.
The watermelons that you saw, there's watermelons grown right next door.
Yeah.
If you go to Everton Road, which is 4 kilometres from here, you still pick up the same watermelons out of this paddock here.
Wow.
The water just flowed like a river all the way through. So it came through really fast here. Yeah. That's why my orchard is completely wiped off. That green paddock next door was an apple orchard. You can still, in the corner there, you still see the tree standing. That's how furious the water was. And so all that water came and then filled up all of Twyford. And that's where those watermelons ended up.
And what would you estimate the cost to the industry to be from this?
Hundreds of millions. Just the cost of repair. The cost of repair, hundreds of millions. There would be, our apple crop is nationwide is a 700, 850, 900 million dollars. So there's still a lot of crop hanging on trees that we can harvest, but just the rebuild is just hundreds of millions, absolutely. Like our house, $250,000, it wouldn't even touch the size of what we need to do, so yeah, that's one of those things. We try to salvage as much as we can, but you only can do so much.
Because the industry was in quite a good position before this. I mean, you're doing quite well. And
yeah, the industry last season was a bit tough because of constraints and the weather conditions. Yeah. This season, weather-wise, once again was a little bit tough. So we lost a little bit of confidence we've had fantastic years, and the shine came off a little bit, and then that's when people get a bit worried. But we've got a resilient industry. 2/3 of our hailstorm right through all of Hawke's Bay in '96, I believe, and look, we've got a fantastic industry, even a better industry than before. So we can come back, but we need the support because we don't have hundreds of millions in our bank accounts to be able to do that.
So we need support. Asking for government support.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How much do you think government should get?
100 million, 200 million. This is not just our homes, it's our productive Hawke's Bay industry. Yeah. It's the jobs. Like I said before, $1 earned on an orchard is $4 received or earned in town. Yeah. It's got a 1 to 4 return, like the pack houses, the cardboard, the truck drivers, the forklift drivers, and the carpenters and the plumbers. Everybody does well when we do well as an industry. That's what Hawke's Bay is built on, and that's why it's so important.
And have you heard any stories of people being affected, like any lives lost in the industry?
Well,
any workers, any growers?
I haven't heard in the industry, but there's 5 people who have lost their lives, which is really, really bad. This is not good. So, my heart goes out to those families. There's one thing we always say to people: can we help? And how bad is this? Well, we're still here, My wife's still with me, my children are helping me right out, and the community comes together, which is really good. As you can see, we've got lots of people around us helping, which is really great. And nobody has said no, you know, that's a really good thing. And I hope that people who are maybe a little bit isolated, they get help as well.
Yeah.
And that'll be really good.
And what is the council doing at the moment, apart from obviously
Yeah.
overseeing the
So I'm only touching base with the council periodically because I'm trying to survive, you know, and that's what we always say in council, family first. So I'm touching base and keeping an eye on. Look, this is catastrophic from us. This is what we do as a council, okay? We have been focusing on the environment a lot, but this is really what we do, keeping people safe. That's what the Hawkesbury Regional Council really is about.
Yeah.
And so we have stop banks that now have been compromised, that need to be rebuilt. We've got substation pumps where there's no power, we can't pump the water out. But we haven't got staff. There's only so much staff. We'll never have enough staff for an event like this. This is catastrophic. You know, this is one in a 100-year storm, maybe even, you know, one in a 200-year storm.
Worse than Bola.
Absolutely would. I was here in Bola, and this stop bank behind me was rebuilt since Bola.
Yeah.
Bola came a metre up, and it still went over the top.
Wow.
That's how big it is, you know.
Yeah.
So we as a council now need to focus on getting all the water out, keeping people safe, and secondly, we need to now start to look at what will the future look like.
Yeah.
What can we do to keep our community safe, so that we actually have a place where we feel safe and where we actually can be prosperous. That to me is the most important thing. So that one message that I need to get out from a councillor perspective, that's what we need to do. Very important. Okay.
And are you speaking on behalf of the fruit growers as well?
I'm speaking on behalf of my own as a fruit grower.
Yeah.
And no doubt, I hope that the sentiments that I've actually put forward are those of my colleagues as well.
Yeah.
But go and talk to them and hear their stories. They're horrific, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's bad, but those people are far worse off than me.
So where are your family living at the moment?
So we actually moved in with our children in Everton Road, where it's still dry. They had power very early on, so we could communicate and we could recharge and get showers and come back in again. But tomorrow morning, this is what I'll be wearing again, because no point washing it, it'll just all get dirty again. And we need to minimise the effect on water and dishwashers and washers, so that's what we do.
So where were you when the water hit?
So we were at our back door, and we were just going to get some stuff out of the shed that we wanted to keep dry, and we looked, and all of a sudden we just saw forceful water coming down this drive here, and we knew that wasn't surface water, that was with force, it was angry water. So we ran back inside, got a duffel bag full of what we needed. Some people took mascara and not the other stuff that they should have taken. But that was just, we're panicking. That was panicking.
Yeah.
And then we got in the cars, like one car was parked there, one car was roughly parked there. By the time we got in the car, and we only packed a small bag, it was up to the floorboards. So we just raced out. I told my next door neighbour, and the water was following me. Drove into their drive. She was standing outside. Get out, get a bag, get out, quick. She went inside, turned around, and it was already too late for her to get in the car. Her car's written off. It's still in the car.
So she jumped in with you?
No, I took off. She was going to grab a bag,
Yeah.
and so we had to get a forward drive tractor to go and get her
wow.
and take her out.
Yeah.
I've got footage of that too.
And can you just sort of describe the impact on the property, what has been destroyed and that kind of thing?
So we have here on this particular property, we've got 14 hectares of fruit, of which 3 hectares of cherries. They're okay. The nets are completely destroyed. We can fix that. All the apples are completely destroyed. They're all either fallen over or they're completely washed away. And even if 10% will be standing, it's not worth retrieving, so that all will come out, go in a big heap. There's post and wire and everything in it. We'll ask for a compensation from council that we're allowed to burn it when it's really dry, and so we can get rid of it. And so, all my hectares, which is 11 hectares, is completely destroyed, completely gone, and that will take 3 years to rebuild. And that is a cost of about $180,000 to $250,000 per hectare. By the time you put your irrigation in your trees, you post and wire, and now we have to pay licenses as well for our new varieties, which are very good varieties, well liked overseas, but it comes at a cost. So $180,000 is possibly at a cheap end per hectare that it will cost to get up. I haven't got that sort of money in the bank. I would love to, but we haven't. You know? So that's where the help will need to come from.
And what's it like as a grower, seeing your hard worked produce on the ground?
I'm still working on adrenaline.
Yeah.
This morning, my wife and I had a bit of a cry. It was tough to see my wife being hurt. It's not what I live for. All you see, that's our life work. We have a beautiful home, come and have a look inside, and it's completely destroyed.